Hey, it's Lights Camera Jackson. Sunday, November 26th. I've got December on the brain because of my very rocky Christmas, my holiday book that's out for the holiday season. But it's November 26th, 2023. Hope you're doing well. And welcome to LCJ Live. We just got through Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. A big weekend for the movies, I guess. I mean, when you add up the money total, it's a strong top four, but we've got some surprises and some disappointments within that top four that we're going to break down right now. If you're watching live on YouTube Live, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's start with Hunger Games. $28.8 million in the 3-day, $42 million in the 5-day, for a total right now of $98.4 million. If you've got questions and comments, send them here on LCJ Live. By the way, I've got Disney 100 here because we're going to talk about Wish, which didn't do great this weekend. Also, Leo's on Netflix, a lot of fun, and I talk with the directors. That Q&A is at lcj.podbean.com. So Hunger Games is your winner once again. Last weekend with a $44 million opening 3-day weekend. And here with the 5-day over Thanksgiving, $42 million. So technically it barely lost. Barely went down, though the 3-day 28.8, it's a decent 3-day, I think bigger than I would have expected. So these Hunger Games movies, the last two didn't make as much money as the first two, but they did fairly well in the month of November over Thanksgiving weekend. And once again, Hunger Games benefits from the Thanksgiving holiday. So it's at 98.4. It's the second biggest Lionsgate movie of the year, behind John Wick Chapter 4, which made 187. This Hunger Games is not going to get to 187. In fact, it may not get to 150. It'll try. But will Lionsgate consider this enough of a success? We will have to see. And with next weekend's big movies being like a new Godzilla movie, Godzilla -1, plus the new Beyonce concert movie. It'll be interesting to see which one of those, or if any other movies, leftovers from Thanksgiving, top the box office next weekend. There's a bunch of other movies opening, limited, select theaters, streaming. I've seen a bunch of award season contenders. We'll get to all of that shortly. Number 2 for Thanksgiving goes to Napoleon in an upset over Disney's Wish. Napoleon with a $20.4 million 3-day and a $32.5 million 5-day weekend. Technically 5.5, 6 days. It opened Tuesday afternoon, so did Wish. You got to call it technically 6 days. 32.5 is good enough to already put it as one of Sony Columbia's top 5 movies of the year. It finally passed $32.1 million for the Adam Driver movie. I can't even remember the name of it. What the heck was that name? 65. Yeah, it was all numbers. 65. It was a terrible movie. 65 is out of the top 5 for Sony Columbia for the year. It made $32.1 million, and this movie, Napoleon, has already made $32.5 million. So it knocks it out. It's now under Gran Turismo and No Hard Feelings. I think what's going to happen is that Napoleon's going to make more money than No Hard Feelings, which totaled 50.4. Will it get to the 92 million of Equalizer 3? I'm not sure, but it could be the 3rd biggest Columbia movie for the year. The only other movie left for the studio this year is that Sydney Sweeney, Glenn Powell rom-com, Anyone But You, which opens for Christmas. And a lot of people are like, why doesn't that open for Valentine's Day? Well, Sydney Sweeney's also got Madam Web from Sony that opens Valentine's Day weekend. Not two of the same studio, two of the same star, the same weekend, so they decided this one for Christmas. Brandon Heaton, I feel bad for Wish because it's not that bad of a movie. I saw Wish the other day. I like it. Is it my favorite Disney musical of all time? No. It's not perfect. It's got some issues. I think the music is one of the standout elements of the film. Wish made $19.5 million with a 5-day total of $31.7. So it's behind Napoleon by $800,000 when it comes to the 5, or technically 6-day open. Here's how it compares to other Disney animation movies at Thanksgiving time. Encanto from 2 years ago, one of the returns to theaters for family entertainment, $27.2 million in the 3-day, $40.6 million in the 5-day, for a total of $96.1 million. Of course, that went on to win the Academy Award for Best Animated Feature. Strange World, last Thanksgiving weekend, just $12.2 million in the 3-day, $18.9 million in the 5-day, and a total of $38 million. Now, it was looking like Wish was going to get to $38 million in the 5-day, but $31.7, it didn't come close. So Wish kind of falls in between. Encanto and Strange World. Certainly it's going to make more money total than Strange World. Going to pass 38 million. We know that's going to happen. But is it going to get to that 96 million of Encanto? I don't think so, especially when you got a lot of other families going to Trolls, and Migration is just a few weeks away from Universal and Illumination for Christmas. Yeah, Wish is not in a great spot. It's Disney 100, and Jennifer Lee told me when I saw her in September, we love putting these movies out for Thanksgiving, that families come to expect a Disney movie at Thanksgiving time. But I mean, Wish didn't even do as well as Encanto, and Encanto was not a blockbuster 2 years ago. It became more of a phenomenon in at-home viewing. Wow. Underwhelming for Wish. Disney's got to be going, oh my gosh, we lost to Napoleon this weekend. Ooh. And you barely beat Trolls. In the 3-day, Wish tops Trolls by just $2 million. In the 5-day, it's a little more than that. But Trolls with $17.5 million in the 3-day, $25.3 million in the 5-day, for a total right now of $64.5. Universal decided not to open Trolls Band Together on November 3rd, which I think was a mistake. I think they should have opened the movie on November 3rd, because it would have opened number 1, and it would have probably made more money by now. I mean, yes, you open it 2 weeks later, yes, but at this point, this Trolls movie should be making more money than this. When you look at what the first Trolls did, which had a 3-day over the Thanksgiving weekend of 10.6, a 5-day of 14.5, so it did more than that, but Trolls had already been out for several weeks. It was at 135.4 million at this point, totaled 153.7. This Trolls may not crack $100 million, and the first Trolls made 153. The second Trolls, Trolls World Tour, made 100 million in at-home sales, and if that was translated into theaters, it would have made more than that. So Trolls Band Together, to me, DreamWorks is going, did we make the right call when Dune left November 3rd, not moving up officially to open November 3rd? I'm not sure they made the right call. Now, it wouldn't have probably made this much money over Thanksgiving weekend, because it would have been weekend number 4. But when you've got 2 major animated movies that basically opened up against each other, and families may only be able to choose one, the money's going to split down the middle. And look at what happened. 19.5 over here, 17.5 over here. The money basically split down the middle. Even Steven. Whereas Trolls might have, by this point, and made more total. It's a tough call, but I think Universal and DreamWorks should have moved it up. And you get more breathing room now, Universal, for Migration for Christmas time. So 64.5. I mean, Wish is probably going to get to 64.5 total. Maybe it won't. But if Trolls doesn't break 100, I think DreamWorks and Universal have to go, what did we do here? And are we just relying on the at-home? Because Trolls World Tour, the second one, was the start of the at-home phenomenon. You know, do we have to educate people on coming back, families coming back? Or it was a case of, I can only pick one over the other. And brand recognition sells. Look at Hunger Games. Even though it's not doing great, it's brand recognition. People still want to go. So a lot of kids might have said, I want to go see Trolls. They're like, what is Wish? Yeah, it was tough. When Trolls didn't move up, I was thinking, gosh, this is, you know, head to head. But in the end, families can likely only pick one. And then you get at-home options like Leo, which is a good movie, for families to stay home and watch it on Netflix. Interesting time for animation. There's a lot of other animated movies and series on the way. Baby Shark, Migration, Merry Little Batman, and Chicken Run, which I have seen, and more. What an interesting time. Let me run through the rest of the box office quickly. But again, if you look at the top 4, do some quick math if I can here. About 39 million, 58 million, and what would that be? 76 million, something like 76 million for the top 4 over the 3-day. And over the 5-day, that adds up to 74 and a half, 100 and something, 125, 130 million dollars. That's not bad, all things considered, for a top 4. In the end, a few movies suffered and a few movies did okay. That's the way to look at it. Thanksgiving, believe it or not, held on pretty well, even though we are past Thanksgiving. 7.2 million, Friday to Sunday. It's at 24.2. The Marvels, which continues to be one of the biggest flops of the year, 6.4 million. It's at 76.9. The Holdovers Even went up a little bit from last weekend, $2.8 million. It's at 12.9. It's got to get a couple million more to climb up the top 5 chart for Focus Features for the year. It's in the top 5, but it's got to get to 17.7 in order to be number 3. I think it can do it. It's a great movie. Taylor Swift added 2.3 million this weekend. It's at 178.3. Here Comes Beyonce. And I don't see Taylor Swift making a lot of money next weekend now with the Beyonce concert movie opening up. Five Nights at Freddy's added 1.8 million. It's at 136.2. And rounding out your top 10 this weekend, Next Goal Wins with 1.7 million. It's at 5.7. And Saltburn supposedly also has made 1.7, though we can't get that confirmed yet. Amazon has not released the money yet. 1.7 million in the 3-day, about 2.5 million-ish for the 5-day expansion of Saltburn. A film that I saw the other day and didn't love. As far as Amazon MGM contenders for the award season, American Fiction is a lot better than Saltburn. I have also seen The Boys in the Boat, the George Clooney film for Christmas Day. I cannot comment yet on The Boys in the Boat. Other movies that made money this weekend, Dream Scenario with 640,000. It's at 743 with Nicolas Cage, A24. Dream Scenario, I think that's the total. That may be the 5-day. Dream Scenario goes wide this Friday, December 1st. Priscilla added 1.3 million. It's at 19.6. It'll get to 20 million for A24. That's a good total for that film. People are seeing it, which is good. Radical added 751,000. It's at 7.8. And Killers of the Flower Moon added 1.1 million. It's at 65.6. I think Napoleon is going to make more money than Killers of the Flower Moon in terms of Apple movies going to theaters this fall. All right, let's talk about some other movies that open up this weekend and movies I have seen. La Sindicaliste, also called The Sitting Duck, starring Isabelle Huppert, opens in New York and Los Angeles Friday. Isabelle Huppert is outstanding in it. I saw the movie back in June. It's very good. If you're a fan of hers and you're in New York and LA, go see La Sindicaliste on Friday. American Symphony is a documentary on John Batiste and his wife. It's on Netflix starting Wednesday. Won a couple of Critics' Choice Documentary Awards a couple weeks ago. Eileen opens in select theaters Friday. This is a hard to describe, but because it gives away too much. There is a major twist in the movie. I saw this at the Woodstock Film Festival earlier this fall. Stars Thomasin McKenzie and Anne Hathaway. They have some good scenes together. I don't think the movie as a whole comes together. Select theaters Friday, opens wide expansion next Friday, December 8. Next Friday, December 8 is also the day I have to submit my ballot for the nominees for the Critics' Choice Awards. The nominations will be unveiled December 13. And I've got just about, 11 days-ish to screen some more movies. I still have to see Wonka, which I'm very looking forward to. Color Purple, Ferrari, The Zone of Interest, Origin, Iron Claw. But I have seen these movies. In addition to Boys in the Boat and Saltburn and American Fiction, which I already mentioned here today, last night I watched Poor Things. Oh my gosh, what a terrible movie. Just a terrible film. I sort of, you don't go in with preconceived notions, but the trailers made it look so bizarre. And it is that. But it's also a story that just is so preachy. The message-heavy dialogue and the performances are cartoony and out of control. Mark Ruffalo, oh my goodness, wow. What just embarrassing moments from him. Willem Dafoe, the only positive I can give this movie is I like the approach of Willem Dafoe to his character, but the character itself is pretty boring. But I thought the approach to him, what he tried tone-wise with him was pretty good, but a boring character. Emma Stone, there's a lot of buzz. Maybe she'll win her second Best Actress Oscar. She doesn't deserve it for this. I mean, she has to do a lot. She goes crazy. She goes bonkers for different reasons as the movie goes on. But the material is just so, I don't know if idiotic's the right word. Just the characters do a lot of things that are just so dumb, and the situations. And then there's a twist towards the end, and you're like, this is the way that they wanted to introduce that twist? Yeah, it's terrible. It's a terrible movie. Poor Things. So, no, won't be getting any votes from me. Sorry. Chicken Run. Chicken Run, Dawn of the Nugget. I watched it the other night. It's fun. It's good. I'm going to be, I think, talking with some people involved in that. We'll have to see. But Chicken Run from Aardman. This is their 7th fully stop-motion animated movie, their 9th overall. if you count Flushed Away and Arthur Christmas. Chicken Run opens in select theaters December 8. It's on Netflix December 15. I've also seen Freud's Last Session, which opens December 22nd from Sony Classics. Anthony Hopkins is very good. Look, he was nominated a couple years ago for The Two Popes. He won for The Father. I think he deserves to be nominated again. This is a very good performance. He plays Sigmund Freud. Matthew Goode plays C.S. Lewis. It's based on a play, and it's this conversation between the two of them, but we've got some other subplots. There's a few too many subplots, but I think the emotion is there. It's strong enough. It's not, wow, but there are some wow moments from Anthony Hopkins. So Freud's Last Session is a good movie. Memory. Not a fan of Memory. Jessica Chastain, Peter Sarsgaard. It's a drama that really makes a lot of silly decisions and a lot of, what? Really? Would they really do that? What? So that's a lot of Memory. Don't recommend that movie. That opens later on in December. Going to be, like I said, checking out Wonka. Candy Cane Lane, Eddie Murphy comedy is coming out this Friday on Prime Video. I'm going to check that out. And Leave the World Behind. I still got to see that. Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon movie for Netflix. Mahershala Ali's in it too. And I think that's it. There's one or two others. Color Purple. Looking forward to that. And some of the big award season contenders left. Migration I still have to see, which I'm very much looking forward to. So you'll get my thoughts. Hope you're liking the LCJ list that I put out every Friday. What you can see, what I recommend you watch in theaters, at home, streaming services, TV, celebrating animation, all of that. I'll keep doing that into the award season and the rest of the fall. When we're back here, next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern for LCJ Live. We'll see what's number one. I want to see the tracking on Beyonce because I want to see what they're thinking right now. It's not going to make as much money as Taylor Swift. The pre-sales have not been. I don't see it being quite that big. But they're looking at a $27 to $36 million opening weekend, which would be very good, and that would absolutely mean it would win the weekend next weekend if it can do more than 24. I think it's a lock to win next weekend. Godzilla -1, they're looking at 5 to 9. I think it could do more than that. I think people want to see this. Yeah, and Silent Night, new horror holiday movie, also opens this coming weekend. Box Office Pro looking at 4 to 9 million. We'll see. I think there have been a lot of those lately, from Thanksgiving to It's a Wonderful Knife. People might be getting a little tired of those, so we'll have to see about that. So yeah, and then Eileen opens in select theaters, and we've got the La Sindicaliste and some other movies. So yeah, Beyonce is probably going to win, unless Napoleon has a stronghold, or Wish, or Trolls. But I think Beyonce is going to win. Now that I see that, and I was thinking maybe 17, 18. Now that I'm seeing that it can do 27, I think Beyonce is going to win. So what a year for concert movies, right? Oh my goodness. Change the game when it comes to releasing movies in the theaters. Wow. So when we're back here next Sunday at 12 p.m. Eastern, we'll talk about that. We'll talk about more of the award season contenders I will have seen over this week, and more of the big movies, Boy and the Heron, and some others previewing for release next Friday the 8th. As always, go to Twitter. That's at LCJ Reviews. Instagram at LightsCamJackson. The website is lights-camera-jackson.com. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. youtube.com/lightscamerajackson. Subscribe to the channel. Turn on your notifications. I do this every Sunday at noon Eastern. It's LCJ Live. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. Fly Eagles Fly. And I'll see you next time for LCJ Live. LCJ.podbean.com. It's got some good podcast episodes. AnimationScoop.com as well for more. And if you would like to order a copy of my book, My Very Rocky Christmas, it's available on Amazon. Get it for your family for the holiday season. Part of the proceeds go to the Nature Conservancy Plant a Billion Trees campaign. Thank you to everyone who's already come out to events this holiday season, supporting the book, supporting Nature Conservancy, supporting My Very Rocky Christmas. Get it for your family for the holiday season. It's the perfect story for the holidays. We're now less than a month away from Christmas. Wow. So now is the time to pick up My Very Rocky Christmas. Order it on Amazon. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye-bye.